Hey everyone, Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. The time has come again to do a home lab and an office tour. We did one in 2021 and things have changed. So this is going to be like MTV Cribs, but for geeks like myself. First, we'll start off in this office. I'll show you what I use to record and I'll show you everything around me. We'll move to the main floor. I'll show you all my Ubiquity gear, all the cameras that I use, and then we'll take a look at the network rack. So let's get started. First, to start off in the office, we have the Unify Smart Sensor, which is acting as a door contact for open close, a humidity sensor and a temperature sensor, as well as a motion sensor. And this thing has been going since I did my original video on it and still has a ton of battery life. We then have a clock for the X-Files, I want to believe. I'm a pretty big fan. And then we have our Harley Quinn Lego set with Philips Hue light strip around it. Below that, I have my Ampeg amp, and then we have my Mark Hoppus bass, which I just recently got a few months ago. Up top, we have all of my Lego. If you've seen any of my videos, you know that I'm a pretty big Lego fan. We have a Nano leaf at the back. We have a sign that Chantel made for me. And then we have a few more Legos on the bottom. Beside the Nano leaf, we have another guitar. This is my Shure guitar. And then we have Batman and Joker with some Hue lights around it. Not really happy with these cables. I don't know what else to do with them. I might bury them in the wall, but we'll see if I want to patch that up. We have some extra guitar strings, and then we have a couple Raspberry Pis. This Raspberry Pi is for RetroPie, and this will be for Home Assistant. Moving on, we have another Philips Hue light, and then we have this Alien, which I've had since I was a teenager, and I will probably never let it go. A couple Unify Talk phones, which we will be doing more videos on. A plant, so I feel like I'm outside. And then we have a Dexter comic, another Philips Hue. If we look up, we have a Van Gogh Lego set. And then we have another Ibanez guitar. At the back, we have another Philips Hue light strip. And then we have some products that I'm doing a review on. So the AI Bullet, and then the vertical cable eye punch tool, as well as some pfSense Netgate gear, which we will be doing more videos on. And above the desk, we have the Unify U6 Enterprise Access Point, which is giving my computer Wi-Fi 6E. Now going below, I just have some random gear. I have another Unify Smart Sensor. We have the Unify Electric Strike. We have a guitar pedal and a Synology NAS, a 2-bay NAS. And we have a couple more batteries, as well as a Fender guitar amp, which is Lego. I have a real Vox guitar amp. And then moving over, I'm working on a Simpsons Lego currently, and this is where you would see the top-down views, what I'm doing in my videos, and I have this stand where I put my DSLR camera on. Beside that, we have my Xbox Series X. For speaker monitors, I use these KRK monitors with a Focusrite audio input, and this is where I plug my guitars into to do recordings. We have the Elgato Key lights, and then we have the Elgato wave panels on the back. For my monitors, I have a curved MSI, and I will put all the model numbers down below. I'm not too sure what they are. We have an Asus ProArt 4K, and then I have another MSI monitor. We have a Corsair MK2, and then we have the Stream Deck. And this is a new mousepad that I just bought. It's a Corsair MM700 RGB. I like it because I'll be able to plug my mouse into the USB port. For my DSLR mount, I just use this Rode mount currently, but I'll be using an Elgato multi-mount eventually. And then for my audio interface, I'm using the GoXLR for my mic. And the mic that I use is a Shure SM7B. And this is my computer that I use. Don't mind the cable mess behind it, but this is an i9 and it has a 3070 Ti in it, and that's my Corsair headset. Below where the mic is, I have my Grandstream 6301, and then we have another Synology NAS, which I'll be using for testing. All right, and that was the office, so let's head downstairs and look at all the other devices on the main floor and the cameras outside. Chantel made this Lego picture of this. It's Bricks by Pix, so that's pretty cool. Now let's go downstairs. In the living room for our Wi-Fi, I use the U6 in-wall access point. This will eventually be changing out for something else that we can't talk about right now. In the corner of the window, we have another smart sensor, and this is just doing motion and temperature, and that's it. So if something walks by it in the middle of the night, I will get an alert that there was motion. At the front of the house, we have a Unify smart chime plugged in by our shoe rack. And then we have another smart sensor on the front of the door, which is for a door contact as well as temperature and humidity sensor. All the cameras for the front of the house are plugged into that USW flex switch, which is great for camera work. I need to patch that or put an access hatch on it. We have a G3 Flex in the garage. Now let's head to the front of the house and look at all the other cameras. At the front of the house, we have the G4 Doorbell Pro, and this is still lacking some features. We should be able to change this to whatever we want, customize it, as well as the finger thumb scan. On the right side of the house, we have a unified G4 Bullet. If we go into the middle, we have an Amcrest AI with facial recognition. And then on the left side, we have a G4 Pro, which is a 4K camera. On the side of the house, we have another G3 Flex camera, and these things are great. I'm probably going to be putting a couple more around the house. In the backyard, we have a G4 Bullet camera, and yes, there is lots of cobwebs. We have tons of spiders in this area, and this has the IR extender on it. Next up, we have the Catio, and here's Mocha, and this is Nilla. And we have the USW Flex box that's powering all the cameras within the Catio. If we open up the Flex box, we have the USW Flex switch. This Flex switch is getting powered by the USW Mission Critical switch, which has a battery backup in it. In the Catio, we have the AI 360 camera, and then down below we have the G3 Flex, which I will be adding one per floor. We're now down in the basement and I have a PS5, which is awesome. And we have some random gear in this bookshelf. I have a Unify hat. I actually have 2 or 3 of these. This shelf I have to blur out because the first rule of EA is we don't talk about EA. The next shelf, I just have a Grandstream phone, a Unify phone, Unify smart plug. We have a beacon cover, which is the wood cover. I have a G4 Dome, we have an in-wall HD, and then I have the mag lock. Below that, we have another U6 Enterprise. I have a couple Pro access points, a couple G4 Bullet cameras, a Nano HD, a U6 Lite, and another USW 8-port switch. And on the bottom, we have the mesh access point, we have the Beacon HD, we have a couple MikroTik switches and router, as well as a UISP switch and router. Beside the bookcase, we have Cat 6 from Ubiquiti, and then I have a bunch of Lego that I still need to build. Moving forward, we have another Fender guitar, and then I have another Fender Tele and a Fender acoustic guitar. Now we're here at the network rack, which most of you have probably seen, but it's a 25U StarTech rack. At the top of the rack, we have a Keystone patch panel that doesn't have anything connected to it. I'm waiting to get a silver blank panel, and then we have my patch panel with those 6-inch red slim patch cables. All these slim cables are going into my USW Enterprise PoE switch, which gives 2.5 gigabits per second on 12 of the ports. And we have some DAC cables connecting down to the aggregation switch. Below the aggregation switch, we have my UDM SE, and we have a second UDM SE because once a firmware update comes out for the PDU Pro, we should be able to have virtual router redundancy. The next switch below the second UDM SE is our Mission Critical switch, and I just use this to do an uplink to the Catio, and then we have our PDU Professional. On the shelf below, I have my Synology NAS, which is a DS1621XS Plus, which has a 10 gigabit NIC card in it. We have some rack studs. At the bottom of the rack, we have my Unify RPS, which doesn't have rack ears because I lost it. And then we have my UNVR Pro. We also have a CyberPower UPS. And that's it for the 2022 home tour as well as the home network tour. A couple things I couldn't show in this video is the camera that I shoot on, which is a Canon EOS 90D. Also, the mic that I use attached to the DSLR is a Rode VideoMicPro. For the majority of the things that I use, I will put Amazon affiliate links down below. For the Ubiquiti devices, you could find them all on the Ubiquiti website. If you have any questions about my setup or my network setup, please leave it in the comments below. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. All right, thanks.